People like you don't belong here. That sentence hit the room before the laughter did. It sliced through the air, clean and sharp, the kind of line that doesn't need explaining because everyone already knows what it means. The bank doors were still closing behind me, the soft mechanical hiss echoing off marble floors, and suddenly every conversation around us died at once. All eyes turned. Suits, watches, polished shoes, and me, standing there in worn jeans and old jacket shoes that had walked too many miles and not enough carpets. I froze for half a second. Not because I was scared, but because I was deciding something. You know how there are moments where you can feel your pride itching to fight back and your survival instinct telling you to stay quiet? Yeah. That moment. The branch manager stood a few feet away from me, arms crossed, chin lifted, just enough to make sure everyone knew who owned the room. He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It was practiced. Comfortable. Like he'd said that sentence before. "People like you don't belong here," he repeated louder this time, just in case someone had missed it. A few customers laughed. Not a lot, just enough. Enough to make it sting, enough to make it public. Phones came out. Security shifted their weight. And me, I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't defend myself. I just nodded once, turned around, and walked back out into the heat like none of it mattered. But here's the thing, it mattered. That night, I didn't sleep much. I lay on a narrow bed in a small apartment on the wrong side of town staring at a ceiling fan that hadn't worked in years, listening to the city breathe through a cracked window. Sirens, distant laughter, someone arguing 2 floors down. Life moving on without me like it always had. To anyone looking in from the outside, I was just another guy who never quite made it. Clothes worn thin. Beard untrimmed. A man the world had already sorted into a box and forgotten. And most days I was fine with that. Blending in can be peaceful. But that night I reached into a drawer and pulled out a document I hadn't touched in years. Folded, yellowing at the edges, heavy in a way paper shouldn't be. I didn't open it right away. I just rested my hand on it, feeling the weight of decisions I'd made a long time ago. Decisions that cost me comfort, status, money, but bought me something else. Clarity. The next morning, the city woke up rough and loud, same as always. Vendors shouting, buses coughing smoke, people rushing like being late was a crime. I washed my face in a plastic basin, looked at myself in the mirror, and for a moment I saw 2 versions of me overlapping. The man I was, and the man I let the world think I'd become. I folded the document neatly, slid it into a clean white envelope, and tucked it inside my jacket. Then I walked back toward that bank. The building looked the same as the day before. Tall, shiny, untouchable. Glass reflecting a world it didn't feel part of. As I crossed the street, I noticed how people moved differently near it. Straighter backs, quieter voices. Respect triggered by architecture. The doors opened again. Cool air rushed over me, carrying the smell of polished floors and expensive perfume. And just like yesterday, the looks came. Quick glances, open frowns, the silent question hanging in the air. Why is he here again? I walked to the front desk and waited. Calm, still, hands folded. Minutes passed. No one acknowledged me. Finally, a young teller cleared her throat and asked carefully, "Can I help you?" "I'm here for a meeting," I said. She blinked, looked at my clothes, looked at her screen. "With who?" "The board," I replied. That's when the manager noticed me. His face hardened instantly. He stepped out of his glass office like he was walking onto a stage. Confidence dialed up to 10. "You," he said, pointing. "Didn't I make myself clear yesterday?" "I'm here on business," I said, keeping my voice level. He laughed. Loud, sharp. "This is a bank, not a joke club. I was invited." "By who?" I didn't answer. I just held out the white envelope. "This is for them." Before he could swat it away with another joke, a woman in a tailored suit hurried over from the hallway, her expression tight. "Sir," she said to him quietly, "the board is waiting. They asked if the guest has arrived." Guest. That word sucked all the air out of the room. Conversation stopped. The manager turned slowly toward me, his smile cracking for the first time. "There's been a mistake," he said. "There hasn't," I replied. I sat down near the boardroom, the envelope resting on my lap while whispers exploded around me. Who is he? Why would the board want someone like that? Security straightened up. Tellers froze mid-motion. Even the manager stopped pacing like his instincts were warning him something was off. Inside the boardroom, the mood shifted the second I walked in. No confusion, no suspicion. Recognition. A man at the head of the table stood up immediately. "Good to see you again," he said warmly. "Thank you for coming." I nodded. Didn't think it was time to keep hiding anymore. Outside, through the glass walls, I could see the manager watching, trying to read the room, trying to understand how the story had changed without his permission. The chairman didn't waste time. "We're here to discuss yesterday's incident," he said, "and leadership conduct." The manager was called in. His swagger didn't make it past the door. He sat stiffly, eyes darting between faces, forcing a smile that wouldn't settle. If this is about the disturbance he began, I was protecting the institution. That disturbance, the chairman said calmly, was him. He gestured toward me. Color drained from the manager's face. "I didn't know who he was," he said quickly. That I finally spoke is exactly the issue. The room went quiet. Not tense, heavy. The kind of silence where truth doesn't need backup. The chairman picked up the envelope, opened it, scanned the page once, then slid it across the table. "Effective immediately," he said evenly. The manager stood up so fast his chair screeched. "You can't do this. This is my career." "So was mine," I said, meeting his eyes, "until I learned titles don't mean much without character." He didn't have anything left to say after that. When he walked out, shoulders slumped, the building felt different. Not victorious, just corrected. I didn't stay long. No speeches, no applause. Outside, I sat on a bench across the street, letting the city rush past me like it always had. Cars, footsteps, someone yelling into a phone. Life unchanged. Later that evening, my son found me at home. "Did it happen?" he asked. I nodded. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, "and I meant it." He smiled. "You always said respect isn't about how loud you speak." The days after that were quiet. The bank didn't collapse. The world didn't stop. But things shifted. Policies changed. People listened more. A few faces I'd noticed looking away before started meeting eyes. Not perfectly, not magically, but honestly. The manager didn't disappear either. He struggled. That's what happens when power gets stripped away and all you're left with is yourself. Some people grow from that, some don't. As for me, I went back to my life. Simple mornings, long walks, watching my kid build something better than what I'd left him. Sometimes the board called. Sometimes they didn't. I never chased it. And every now and then I pass that bank. I watch the doors open for someone who looks out of place. I watch how they're treated. That's how you know if a lesson stuck. So here's my question to you. When you're the one with power, real power, or just enough to embarrass someone, who do you become? The one who laughs or the one who listens? Tell me what you think in the comments. Was this justice or was it too far? Have you ever seen someone judged before they even spoke? Share your story. And if you believe stories like this matter, subscribe, stay, and keep the conversation going.